said grind, folks. Guys, what's going on? We got to get this year off started the right way. I am on the way to my first no heat call of 2026. Guys, this is a brand new customer. She called, and here's the backstory. Listen to this, guys. She called and said that she has a gas heater. She said that the heat stopped working for like a day and then it turns on randomly the next day. And she said this has been happening now for like the past 2 weeks. According to her, nothing was done. She said someone came out to look at it. I don't know if he was like a technician or maybe a family friend. She said that a guy came out to look at it. Nothing was done. It was working when he left. She said this was like 2 weeks ago. It's been working, and then last night it turned off. This morning it turned back on, and then she said, she actually texted me like 20 minutes ago and said that it just turned off again. So guys, I don't know what's going on. It sounds like a good old-fashioned intermittent issue, but luckily we have many years of experience of dealing with crazy things that don't make sense. Let's take a look, guys. I'll see y'all when I get there. All right, guys. This is gas boiler. Now, this customer said that she has 2 zones here. All I know is I turned on 2 thermostats, and the lady that booked the appointment isn't here. There's someone else that's here. But the door is off. Both thermostats are set to 80. My inducer motor is running. No ignition. Alright. Guys, let me get on the other side here and let's see what's going on. I'll be right back. What's the make on this? A crown. This is a crown boiler. This is a big boy, 112,000 BTUs, and we have 2 aquastats, presumably for our 2 circulator pumps. Now guys, what I'm going to do is I want to eliminate any open safeties. Now, I don't have any service history here. Of course, we know what was done here 20 years ago with the inducer motor, but I want to check these safeties here. One thing we do know is that at least our thermostats are calling because our inducer is running, but according to this customer, the unit turned off yesterday, but it turned back on again this morning and then turned off again. So we got a mystery on our hands here. But guys, let's take this from the top. I'll be right back, guys. What I did was I bypassed my pressure switch just to eliminate the pressure switch, and this thing fired right up. Now, we still don't know what this means yet. Even though this inducer motor is running, we want to test for inches of water column. But one thing I will give you guys, if you're troubleshooting older furnaces and older boilers, of course, you may not have a useful schematic. However, the easiest part about troubleshooting older boilers is that you're going to have way less controls to deal with. Everything is very primitive, meaning you may or may not have a block vent switch. You may or may not have a flame roll-out switch. In this case, we do. That would have been my next culprit, is to eliminate all 24-volt safeties. But the fact that we have an inducer, we have to have a pressure switch somewhere, and this is what I bypassed, and my burners fired right up. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to the truck, and I got to get my manometer. I got to make sure that this inducer motor is strong enough. But alright, let's get to it, guys. And look at this. This is actually the main aquastat. Look how tight this area is. I thought my switching relays for my circulator pumps were over here, but this is for my main circulator. As you see, we have 1, 2, 3. The middle one being the main boiler circulator. But our switching relays for our other 2 circulators are right here. We still have to confirm that both circulators are running, but the circulator pump doesn't matter unless we can confirm proper burner operation, which is what we're going to confirm right now. But guys, let me get my manometer and we're going to get down to the bottom of this. I'll be right back. Guys, this is a 0.40 switch, so we need at least 0.40 inches of water column for it to close. And we're at a 0.6. Being at a 0.6, is this inducer motor new? Absolutely not. This thing is at least 20 years old. However, this inducer motor is still strong enough to close a pressure switch. In this case, it's not doing it. The customer said that this thing fired up off and on sporadically the past couple of weeks, but yesterday it worked, last night it didn't, and this morning it's doing the exact same thing. So seems like we got a bad pressure switch. But guys, what I'm gonna do is I gotta step out and call this customer. I don't know if she's here or if she's gonna come in later, but this is like a mixed use building. It's like a commercial building in the front and there's a residence in the back. So guys, let me make a call and I'm gonna get down to the bottom of this and see what she wants to do here. But at this point, at a minimum, we're gonna recommend a new switch, and also maintenance is not a bad idea either. Looks like our circulator pumps are running. But guys, let me call this customer real quick. I'll be right back. I got my new switch in, and another thing I did was I inspected my inducer port. Just wanted to make sure that we didn't have any scale or rust inside the port. Everything was clean, and the customer wants to get maintenance done. But first, what I want to do is I want to make sure that the pipes at least heat up. And right now, we're at 50 degrees on my supply. We certainly have enough pressure inside this cooler. But let me take some things from on top of this boiler, guys, and I'm gonna wait for the pipes to heat up a little bit. I'll be right back. See here, we have a total of 3 zones. This is my basement, this is my second floor, and this is my first floor rear. And this is my return line. And you see here, this is my first floor front. Guys, my supply temps are starting to climb, which is a good thing. As you see before, maybe 10 minutes ago, it was under 50. So, guys, what I'm doing here is I want to make sure that my circulator pump for this first and second floor, I want to make sure the pumps are running. The middle pump here, I can hear this. This is my circulator for my boiler, but for the first and second floor, or for the second floor and the first floor rear, this is a 007 pump, and we're at 0.65, which is great. Now, the reason why I didn't jump straight to the circulator pump is, guys, a circulator pump operation doesn't matter unless you can confirm that the burners are turning on. I repeat, circulator pump operation is secondary to the boiler actually turning on, meaning your burners. If your burners aren't starting, do not worry about the circulator. Break this problem down in half. Make sure your burners are firing up prior to troubleshooting circulator pumps. Prime example, let's say this is an AC system. My evap coil is the boiler, my condenser is my circulator pump. Why would you start troubleshooting outside first if you don't know if your blow motor is turning on inside? So you guys understand the ideology. I won't call this an order operations with troubleshooting, but this is a great guideline to follow. Of course, make sure your thermostat circuit is closed, make sure the thermostat is calling, but always ensure that your burners are firing up. I don't care if you have to squeeze behind the sidewall so you can poke your eyes on the bottom of the boiler. Make sure you have flames, otherwise you're troubleshooting backwards. Circulator pumps can run all day, but if your boiler is not producing heat, your pipes are still going to be cold. So, but guys, what I'm going to do is Put the cover back on. This is gonna take a while. Pretty sure these pipes, and right now it's like 20 degrees outside. I'm pretty sure these pipes are ice cold for God knows how long. But the fact that I see my temps climbing and my pump is working, it's only a matter of time before it heats up. So, but guys, let me clean up here and put the cover back on. I'll see y'all in a few minutes. All right, guys, now we're starting to cook with grease. My supply on both ends are getting relatively warm. What I'm gonna do real quick is I gotta go upstairs. I don't know if they got baseboards or radiators, but based on the drain valve setup, I'm pretty sure they got radiators. I'm gonna go upstairs and shoot the temp of a few radiators, and if not all my radiators, if they're not lukewarm, if they're not hot, then probably within the next hour, everything should be burning hot. I know I got both thermostats cranked all the way up, so everything should be firing up full blast. But yeah, guys, I mean, that's all there is to it. No heat. We took our time, used the process of elimination. We found the inducer motor running, no ignition, and that led us to find an open switch. But instead of just being a part swapper and throwing a new part in, we had to verify proper motor operation, and we did. Once we did that, made the repair, we got the burners fired up, we cleaned the boiler, and most importantly, our circulator pumps are moving water, which is great. That's what we want. But let me see, my supply is almost at 100. Cool. Alright guys, is this boiler brand new? Nope. Will she make it to see another year? You bet it. Alright guys, I'm gonna check a few baseboards. I gotta do the paperwork and I gotta head to the next one. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.